I hope that all your delivery drivers are making money on this day, which is the weekend Saturday. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and check in right quick. Check the sound, check the audio. Trying to get my things set up here. You know how it goes. Changing different areas of my room A and room B to do studio production in it. And sometimes these devices act weird according to the Wi-Fi connection and other people using the same services as well. So I want to go ahead right now and go into see it wants me to put it on TV. I'm not going to do that. Let's see. We should be on right now. And yes we are. Yes we are. Yes we are. Yes we are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got a whole lot to talk about in today's episode. Today's topic of discussion. I got to give a dedication to Cass Real Talk. He also have a Christian channel as well. And this is a great collaboration to show the proof to people last year when we was talking about the future of Doordash of 2026, the future of Grubhub in 2026, and the future of multi-apping in 2026. We will have several content creators that I want to share their videos with you. You know, I'm trying to set it up, trying not to mess that up so I can be able to do it just like this. And I might have to set it back a little bit more. Trying to adjust my camera stand and all of that. All right, we got that going on. I can see everything that needs to be seen. I want to play his video first. I try to pull it up there as you can see. Okay, here we go. We're going to do something here. Bam. You play around with it too long, don't do anything, stay inactive for a little while, these things happen. But since I'm not able to do that, I will have to play it off of this device that's there. And his is the most important one because he is the beginning of the credit that I got to give to him. And he is also the Grand Slam of the week for this topic, which is grinding is better than begging. And I want you to look at a few minutes of his video. You can put comments down below. You can put comments in the replay on what he tells you that through his experience, the changes that he had to make in having additional income, as well as he do these gig apps. So to no further ado, let's see, can we go to him right now? I'm not gonna play him right there, but I do have him. Let's see, hold on. We do have him here, and I will be holding it up in front of the camera right there so you can see what he's talking about. I want to deal with the first 3 minutes. It may take a little more. Let him be able to explain to you the situation that's going on, not only at the end of 2025, the struggles he went through in 2025, but the struggles that drivers going to be going through in 2026. So once again, we give credit to Cass. We appreciate everything you do, brother. You grind, you prove the grind, you trust in God. You know, you keep your faith in him, and you're a living testimony for a lot of those that are Christians that does this type of work. And not only just Christians, any driver that's going through things, they can relate to what you're saying and relate to what all of these content creators that I will be sharing with you today is saying in this episode. So let me go ahead and dial you back. And we're gonna hit this right here, and we're gonna turn up the volume. I wanted to put you on the TV, but somehow I couldn't pull it up. There's some things I need to learn more about these TVs here, and I apologize to my viewers. But right now, we want to no further ado, let you hear Cass talk about, you know, grinding better than begging. This will be part one. I did part two on the short, and I want to also do a continuation of a part three, adding in a whole lot of information, whole lot of details coming from Kim's Side Money Plan, your driver Mike, Bentley Coupe, the Dash Forward meeting that took place. We might talk about that if time is permitted. So let's go ahead and do this right now and let him get started. I got him turned up.
Video. Thank you all for joining me. I please hope that you guys take the time to click the like button. It really helps support the platform, right? All right, so I'm going to talk to you guys about gig work, being an independent contractor, as well as just being a working husband, father, provider. At the end of the day, man, you know, times change. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, out here in the workforce, work field, and it's a part of society. You got to either get with the program or, you know, find something else to do. So, I'm doing DoorDash, and of course, you guys know I work at Amazon, and I work overnight, and I also do DoorDash and Roadie, which is a third party app through UPS. And my ratings are very high, man. I take what I do.
All right, we're gonna stop it right there. He said that you got to do what you got to do to have, I'm paraphrasing, other means of income coming in. You just can't, rely on these gig apps only. And he's right. And if you are on these gig apps and you're a multi-apper, and I so often said it on a lot of my videos last year during the change of the fiscal year, we started doing content talking about titles of multi-apping in 2025, and then we went off into September, started talking about the future of these gig apps in 2026. You still got to have a means of income coming in. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You got to be the one to do it. Begging ain't gonna get it done. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing I frown on a lot of content creators um, advocating what a lot of people feel in Reddit, a lot of people feel on Facebook, about, we bashing the customers about tips. There is a lot of scenarios that's causing customers to stop tipping or they reducing the amount that they tip. In other words, the decline of tipping in 2026 will be a title somebody need to do. We're going behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen, talking to the merchants, talking to the customers to find out these unanswered questions that so many of us have a hard time catching a grip on, the reduction on how we make our money due to the deduction of tips. When you complaining about you're not, getting these tips, you feel like it's worth it to you or for you, you change the narrative of being a complainer to a beggar. Okay. So I'm telling you right now that grinding is better than begging. I will be giving a little storyline in between there. I want to let him finish up telling his story. He's going to tell you about his ratings, and we're going to play a little bit more of his video, and we're going to also do a discussion and a collaboration with what he's saying that has been said on his channel for the last year or more. All right, to no further ado, let's let him finish.
Pride and dignity and integrity, man. You know what I mean? Put my best foot forward every time that I go out. I treat all customer orders as if they were my own. And with that being said, you guys see that I am at platinum, right? And I always tell you guys there's levels to platinum. So right now, I'm going to show you guys my ratings, right? I'm actually in an active dash right now, so I may get an order right now. But let me show you my ratings right quick, and I'll break it down. And so as you see, my overall dasher rating, I'm getting an order right now. It looks like it. Hold on a second. So let's see what they have to offer. Let's see what they offer me. Hold on a second. Something looked like it had came through, but I don't know what that's about. Okay. Anyway, let me go to my rating. My overall dasher rating is at a 95. If you guys can see that. 95. All right? I'm at a 95. Now, my acceptance rate is at 88. My completion rate is at 99. My on-time rating is at 100%. My quality rate is at 100%. My customer rating is at a 5.0. My last dashes within the last 30 days is 126. Lifetime deliveries 4,065. All right, so you guys can take a look at that. And as you can see, the customer rating. Oh, they giving me an order. This is what I want you guys to see. Listen to this. They giving me 10-mile delivery for $6.25. $6.25, and I am at platinum, man. $6.25. But I tell you what, I'm gonna take it.
Drive northwest.
And I'm gonna.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, would you take that order? That same order if it was in your market, 10 miles and $6 for some change. He's going to explain to you the reason why he's taking it. Okay. I'm going to show. I'll have to go on here. I'm going to show you the reason why he's taking that order before I allow him to continue on explaining. I want to do this, go up. All right. Why did I go up? Because I didn't want it to sound. See this video here. Grubhub long distance algorithm. All right, I got a playlist that talks about Doordash algorithm, Grubhub algorithm. The era of doing gig work in 2026, or the future of gig work in 2026, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to bypass all of these undesirable offers. You're going to have to get the best from the bottom of the barrel. When we're dealing with these orders, they're mixing them in now in the algorithm, even on a platinum level on DoorDash, even on a premier level on Grubhub. Notice them the two apps I'm talking about right now, because I'm doing a case study research on DoorDash versus Grubhub. All right. Not just which app is better, but what do they have in comparison that is similar that drivers are talking about that's stopping them to maximize their earnings or interfering on the way they maximize their earnings for profit. Number one starts with decision making. Okay, if you don't have the knowledge that it takes, ladies and gentlemen, to make the right decisions, you're not going to make the right decisions. He's sharing some secret sauce right now. I talked about there are sometimes certain orders, certain reverse orders, upside down orders you can take and make a profit. I proved it on my channel. You got to pick the best out the bottom of the barrel. And we talked about the bottom of the barrel in order to get the good offers out here, to get the best payouts out here and all of that. You got to look at super saturation that's in the market, ladies and gentlemen. You got to look at super saturation. So I got to pause on that right now. I'm going to go back to him. I want to see what's being said in the live chat right quick. Okay, I'm turning that down. All right, we got Dennis Cormier. Okay, said hi. Cleveland County Whitetails. God bless you, sir. We thank you for being on the show today. This may be your first time. You know, as a viewer, we hope that you watch more of our videos, because right now, I'm not the only one, but I'm one of the few content creators that's not going to talk about just the money, because I got to follow the money series, right? All right, in the Follow the Money series, I got different key topics off in my shorts. Pay attention to the shorts. Pay attention to the small talk that's going on them shorts. That's going to make you think, that may turn your light bulb on and saying, okay, aha, I got an idea now on how I need to navigate these orders. They're not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Undesirable offers. They're not going anywhere. You got a lot of drivers cheating the system. Yeah, it's true. They're using bots. They're using multiple Doordash accounts to cheat the system to be profitable. They juggling their apps to cheat the system, but they cracking down on the juggling of the apps. You know, so we got to advance to the next stage of multi-apping and start stacking our apps. You know, you want to get your go-to apps, your best money-making apps, you know, and do them in different increments and shifts and different zones and zip codes to maximize the most out of those apps in your market. Only you are responsible for finding out these things in your market. We talk about a pay rate scale. A lot of drivers don't even know what their pay rate scale in their market. They go by the statistics of what they see when they Google it on Chat, GBT, all of this, right? But you need to get out and grind in the streets. Record your historical data in your demographics. Demographics is more than just knowing where the best offers is, knowing where the best zip codes is, knowing where the best restaurants is. It's the things that's behind the scenes information we don't have that causes us to make bad decisions. I will be discussing them things on this channel here. We're already doing it. We're already kicking the campaign off. We did it last year. We're doing it this year. Just keep watching our videos, ladies and gentlemen. It's all going to make sense to you. So let me go back to that brother again and let him finish telling his story. The reason why he made that decision. We're going to let him tell it. All right, let's go ahead and proceed on. I probably got to turn it up.
Market orders and limit orders. Market orders.
That's talking about something else. Let me go ahead and he got an ad here. It's gonna take a few seconds. I hate to do it like this here because I really wanted to do it on the television, but man, that's a long ad too. Hold on. That means we done lost something right there for a second. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's the ad. So we're gonna let that ad run through. There we go. We can skip that ad now. Now I can turn the volume back up. I hate to do it the way I'm doing it because I really wanted it to be up here like the rest of the other content creators I'm going to be pulling up later on in this video. All right, let's go ahead and proceed.
Drive northwest.
And I'm gonna explain a little bit to you as to why. I'm gonna take, you know what I mean. At the end of the day,
What happened? See, I touched something and it did that. Okay, I apologize once again. Let's see, can we get it on here? Let's see, can we get it on here? We're going to try to get it on there. See, will it connect to the device here? Will it? See, that's what I'm talking about. It'll work for that TV up there. Okay, here we go. We got him now, ladies and gentlemen. Apologize for what I have to do. We're going to go ahead and play it. We got him now.
Because right now I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm out here to make money. Number two. And the reality is I'm on a platform that I can't control. Even though I feel that it's over, oversaturated, it's crowded, and it's not in my best interest. You know what I mean? And the numbers don't mean anything. You feel me? Because I'm getting the pay that I
What's
got
up, Ball
for
Hogger? We see you in the room, sir. Rack 'em up, stack 'em up. Appreciate you being here.
And you
Dennis,
guys saw my
appreciate
numbers,
you
I was
being
ranked
here.
the higher end of platinum. And
Cleveland
I'm
County.
orders worse than this. You feel what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm balancing everything out right now. You know what I mean? Because see, working at, and I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you guys what you do when you are a grinder, when you are a provider, when you have your own place like me, you have a wife, you got children. You know what I'm saying? You don't fall down and just quit and give up. You work with everything and you make it happen. So I'm doing Circle K too as well. I forgot to mention that Circle K. Um, and that's another gig that you go and do the little cleaning. You stock the food up or whatever like that. You get an hour or two for that, like $28, $32 or whatever, and then got Roadie, Doordash, Amazon at night. You know what I mean? And see, because the thing is, because I'm also flex at Amazon, the hours aren't.
Okay, we're gonna stop it right there. You guys can look at the rest of that episode. Grinding better than begging. We always complain a lot because we want to have excuses on why we feel like we're a failure or people feel like we're a failure. And a lot of times we listen to some bad advice out here, among our peers, Reddit group, Facebook groups, right? Even content creators in this niche here. The old way of doing things, ladies and gentlemen, done changed. He's doing multiple streams of income. He just told you his multiple streams of income. He's grinding, he's hustling. He got a W-2. He doing these gig apps. He also talked about how he can be able to do cleaning at certain places like Circle K. And I'm quite sure he's doing more than one. So that's what I'm trying to tell you about having better business etiquette, quality customer service, okay, great professionalism, excellent communication can land you other opportunities out here, ladies and gentlemen, that you can maximize your earnings when these apps are failing you. All right, so this is what we're going to do here. We're going to bounce off of him. I appreciate him giving us that information. All right, powerful information. Y'all be sure to look at that video there, especially for the new viewers. Grubhub long distance algorithm. All right, let's go ahead and see what this content creator got to say about the algorithm. Okay, we're gonna play her right now.
It's only profitable when your website works as hard as you do.
All right, hold on. We gotta knock the ad out of there for a minute. We're gonna do that. Let it run through out of there. Be able to skip it. Try it again. It's playing with me right now. All right, hold on. All right, it's doing one of those things. All right, let's keep see. Yeah, now we out of there. Let's raise her back up, cause she's gonna say some important stuff as well.
It's usually because the system is struggling to place those orders and is testing drivers it thinks might actually take them. Talk about bidding for a driver. So here's a couple myths. So myth number one, high acceptance rate guarantees great orders. I've been a platinum dasher with high acceptance rates, I can say for years now, but reality. It can't give you priority access, but it doesn't force customers to get better or magically change your market.
What's up, Huck Smash? We see you in the room, my brother. We see you also in the room.
I can tell you from firsthand, that's definitely not true. But the reality is you can still see trash. You might see slightly better options or see good ones sooner or even more often, but you're not exempt from the bad offers. The thing with Platinum, it actually gives you more offers per hour than some of the lower tiers, which means you get higher volume, quality. That's the big.
All right, let me stop right there. She said an important thing. She said there's no way around. Let me come on back around here. as I'm sitting behind the camera watching you also in the live chat, and I'm collaborating with content creators such as Kim Side Money Plans, Cash Real Talk, talking about the algorithm. I do documentaries, ladies and gentlemen, and we put it in the history books of the era of what going on these gig apps. Who the major players in YouTube that's talking about Doordash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, the gig apps. All right, we're gonna be documenting them. You're gonna hear what they got to say. That what we've been saying for at least 2 years. We seen the changes was gonna take place. We saw this happening. We didn't get snowballed. We didn't get blindsided. We saw this day coming. They gonna tell you what's actually happening in 2026. Okay, so you won't be just hearing me saying it. You will also hear it from Cash. You will also hear it from Kim Side Money Plans. And she said there's no way around it. You know, it's too many of those kind of orders, ladies and gentlemen. And it's super saturated and oversaturated out here. Let's see what else she has to say. And then I'm gonna do a little bit more talking about it. Then we're gonna go to the next content creator that's also talking about some things as well. So you gotta understand the algorithm. In order to understand the algorithm in your market, you gotta look at your historical data. Your historical data got a whole lot of information. There's a whole lot of sauce there that it will reveal to you where you're making your mistakes in your decision making, and you're going to correct the error of your ways on there and start doing things differently on that particular app. Then you're going to wind up being able to master that app, know how to navigate these orders so you can maximize your earnings for better profit, right? All right, let's proceed on with Kim's Side Money Plan.
And then myth number 3, declining bad orders ruins your account forever. Well, here's the reality. Doordash expects some declines. That's inevitable. The issue is extreme patterns like declining almost everything or constantly accepting and then unassigning. They are into patterns lately, and they look for patterns within a lot of these metrics.
Did you hear what she just said? She said patterns. Some of you out here is declining too many orders. Some of you out here is accepting too many of the wrong orders. And you're putting yourself in a certain pattern. She's talking about the algorithm. That video talks about earn by time versus earn per offer. There's a different algorithm for both. There are EBT, which is earned by time. There are EBT zones. EBT zones. All right, there are certain restaurants you make more money on EBT than on EPO. We want to also stress that as well. In your market, you got to do your own research, your own case study, okay, to come to the conclusions of when you look at your historical data, when you're shopping in them zip codes, ladies and gentlemen, in your city market, you're going to know how to make better decisions because of the information that's being displayed today and also in the future. Because you're going to get a chance to hear the voices from customers on this channel. You're going to get a chance to hear the voices from merchants on this channel. Okay? And the information you're going to receive will empower you and motivate you to change your mindset from the bad habits that we have gathered from listening to what's been said that was working at a point of time during that era of that season. So I'm gonna let her play a few more minutes of her, and then we're gonna go ahead and hopefully can go to the next content creator because our time is running short. I may have to do a part 2 to this. I don't know. Let's go ahead and let her finish explaining about the algorithm and things that she's giving to you that may help you on no matter what platform you on. You see, but you're gonna have to do your own research, your own case study, get out there in them streets, look at your historical data that's on the app, and you're gonna find your answers to your unanswered questions there. All right, let's proceed on.
Okay, so now let's define two pay models that we all know and love, and we all have our favorites. You can tell me in the comments right now, do you do earn by time or do you do earn per offer? Which one do you prefer? You get a guaranteed rate per active hour in your market. If you're on earn by time, you must accept most of the orders they send while you're on EBT, or there can be consequences like getting kicked off of the mode. Well, Doordash is taking on more risk by paying you per active hour, so the base pays are higher, so they use you to move orders that might not look attractive to the dashers on earn per offer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about what she just said. I think it went over your head just then. We talked about in our episode on Grubhub. Same thing can go for the other gig apps. That if we're going to be taking undesirable offers, these gig apps need to pay us more. Whether it's base pay, incentive pay, peak pay, you got to pay us more if you want these orders fulfilled. So they having a strategic plan on how they're getting drivers to fulfill these orders. This is what she's talking about. You see, that would be worth the while. I talked about that same thing 3 years ago when the base pay was very high during peak time. And it was in March, at least 2 years ago, on EBT. So to make your money on EBT and the peak pay is not like it was then at that point of time. You know, to where I can get that order, I'm looking at the peak pay at $22.50 for that active hour. We already done did videos on it. I will tell you, you got to remind me before the end of this episode where to find them videos at. So let me go ahead and go to the next content creator. You know, be sure to look at that video there. We're going to talk about this one here. I got to remember what timestamp it was on that one. I don't think I can be able to pull it up now. But he said some things. I'm trying to remember, one of them was 13 seconds in, I believe, and the other one was a minute and something. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna let's go see, can we go back down? See, can we get another content creator, which is your driver Mike, right? He's been doing on time rate. He done did 3 episodes on, he's doing a series on time rate on Doordash. Okay. Charles D asked me about doing an episode on time rating on Grubhub. So we're going to go ahead right now, to no further ado, we're going to go to your driver Mike, which we are collaborating with him too on some information that my viewers need to know about in their market. All right, let's go ahead and do that, and let's go ahead and let him, which, let me turn it down because you know the mask going to
On Thursday, we're super busy,
See, look at here.
and I'm sitting here.
Hold on, let me do it like this. Let me do this. I got to do some things. Gonna turn it down. He's saying some powerful stuff right there. Okay, do that because I know that ad gonna jump in. All right, let's try this here. Just like I said, all these content creators are monetized, so if we can skip it, there'll go another ad. Let's see, can we skip that? All right. Let's see, can we skip it now? It won't let me. All right. We gotta do the countdown on this here. How many of you go to Whataburger to pick up orders? You know, since the ad's coming in, how many of you do get orders on Whataburger on DoorDash, on Whataburger on Grubhub, on Whataburger on Uber Eats? Put it in the comments in the live chat. Okay. Also, if you come back to see the replay, put it on the replay as well. Mike can be, see, right now it's talking about the mistake were made. I want to kind of see what kind of mistake your driver Mike made. I got to commend him for showing some kind of transparency that only a few content creators do. in this community when they do content. And he's doing his own case study, his own research in his market on his own time rate. Some of the new things that's going on Doordash for 2026. He also went to that conference they had in San Francisco last year too. Him and a few other content creators and those that's on the Doordash Community Council. So let's hear what he has to say. And let me get a little drink of water. All right, let's go ahead. Let me turn him up because
I could have taken this offer and then been on my next assignment already.
all right,
And just like
let
that,
me stop that.
DoorDash heard the call.
Hold on, let me stop that right quick. Can we go back a little bit? Driver Mike said something. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I mean by timestamps. Don't go to sleep in class. This is what I mean in timestamps right here. You see, this is your timestamp. All right, the topic that's for that time there. Huge stack order offer, on time pickup, OTR, should work, rushing to pickup. We're not gonna go through this whole video, but I tell you how imperative it is if you're gonna start consuming content in the gig or from gig content creators. Look for the timestamps. Another thing is to use Gemini AI to summarize it for you. That way you got, somebody said, you got some cliff notes to understand what's going on about the video, so you won't be taking somebody's content out of context. All right, this is what I wanted everyone to see right here. All right, let's go ahead and let him explain his experience, and you think about, have you ran through the same situations on your decision making when you selecting offers and declining offers. The same thing Kim was also talking about, that sometimes we are declining too many offers, or sometimes we're accepting too many times the wrong type of offers. All right, let's go ahead on. No further ado, let's hear what YDM has to say.
Like 20 plus minutes later. I feel like I should have known. I mean, it's rainy. I should get more. It's a Saturday. I feel like I should get more offers. I got this 1250, 2.9. It was fine. Quoted to take 23 minutes. Just out of the zone, but I could have came across the bridge again. And I'm like, oh, I want the same thing, but staying in the zone. You know, like, come on. This is the risk tolerance. How greedy can you get?
Boom. Ding, 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 ding. Hold on for a minute. Let me see what y'all saying in the background here. We dropping some jewels. I see what you're saying, Brother Hulk. You got a Hulk smash algorithm. It's a powerful algorithm. That's when EBT comes in effective. That's correct, brother. I do pick up orders from Whataburger. I pick them up mostly from, when I was doing DoorDash, I picked them more off of Grubhub than I did DoorDash. But a lot of DoorDash orders is there. This man said he made a mistake that many of us no trip drivers do. He made a mistake that many of us decline now drivers do. Wow, that's powerful. And being a little too greedy. He had an order previous to that for that amount. He didn't want to go across the bridge. Now you're going to hear him explain some of the money that he let slip past him. This is powerful information here. I got to commend him for the transparency that he showed that all of us drivers makes this mistake. When we overthink it too much, or we trying to play with it like it was during the pandemic. He's in a very good lucrative market there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I appreciate what he done here and being transparent in his video and showing breakdown details on his decision making on how he can maximize his earning by the hour. All right, appreciate you for this. Your driver, Mike. We're gonna let him proceed on with this here.
Man, my shift, on Thursday was super busy. and I'm sitting here. It said deliver by 3:35. It's 3:38. So I could have taken this offer and then been on my next assignment already. And just like that, DoorDash heard the call. 60 seconds after that, I got an offer. I mean, it would have been insane if I took that first one and then got this one, but now we gotta move, right? Look, DoorDash, I'm going. I gotta turn around here, but
All right, his second offer was a pretty good offer too. I'm trying to see what's it going to show on here. We're going to play a little bit more of it. You know, that he could have bounced back from that. But suppose you in the market, ladies and gentlemen, that you made that kind of wrong decision. I made it many a time. So have a lot of these content creators, but they don't have the courage to tell you that, or to tell your audience. This man at least had the courage to tell his audience about it, the mistakes that all of us make. So, you know, none of us have a reason to laugh at nothing, because we make mistakes like this and even worse. I know I do. And I know everyone else do too. Let's see what else he got to say about it.
you go slow, you get that sharper turning radius, right? Alrighty, here we go. I got an insane offer. 33.10. Thank you guys. Where am I going? Where am I going? Straight.
All right, let me stop. Let me stop for a second. The other orders that's shown on the screen in his market, he didn't want to go across the bridge here. You know, he has his reasons why he didn't want to go across the bridge. We all have our reasons why we don't want to go to a certain zip code, all right, in our market. It's not always trying to be greedy or trying to get the most that we can get if we want to stay in our zones. Notice that the era of 2026, if you're going to make $100 a day, $200 a day, $300 a day, you're going to have to get out of that zone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that information, your driver, Mike. They have a spreadsheet here they can look at. They can look at the rest of your video. I'm going to share these videos, put these video links in my description where you can go get more detail, more information on what we're talking about right now. How many times we make that decision? Let me tell you. Now I'm going to tell my story. Doing the almost that year, the 2 years or a year and a half before the pandemic was over with. And a lot of drivers right now are going to remember what I'm getting ready to say. In this city and other cities, you could go to one restaurant and get all your orders there. I went to Chick-fil-A and Olive Branch, got 23 orders from Olive Branch in one day. All them orders averaged $10 per order, which made me $230 in that day, in a 8.5 to a 9.5 hour shift. Okay. I also did it multi-apping with Grubhub and DoorDash. Okay, the drivers messed it up, bragging about how we was making $30, $35 an hour. The manager felt a certain kind of way. She said, I got a fix for that. You come in there, you show the phone, you got a DoorDash, then you're showing you also got another order, Grubhub or Uber Eats. She automatically eliminated that. Said, you only take one of these orders, you're going to have to decline the other two. She was doing it during Olive Branch there. A lot of other managers started catching on doing the same thing. You know, I was single apping when I had them 23 offers at Chick-fil-A. Howard, Jeremy, Ghost, Mr. Charlie, King, Nate Dogg's son, CJ, many others, LA, all of them could tell you the same thing. We could just work that one restaurant, make our money there. Them times done changed. Too many drivers in one zone, too many drivers at one zip code. They're going to start spreading drivers out. If you want to be able to make that money, you got to start grinding and stop begging. Begging is complaining about you not making the money because you don't want to get out of your comfort zone or comfort spot or comfort zip code you love to shop at. Okay? So they're doing a lot of changes there. Notice the decline of you getting the most lucrative offers like catering orders and all that. All of these things are changing, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to go ahead and get off of him and you know, thank him for that powerful information. Now, what I wanted to go do, which I'm not going to be able to do, I'm going to bounce back here. I want to talk about that video there, but I'm not going to be able to. All right. Kim got another one she talks about, the truth about the algorithm. And your driver might got many more. I'm going to have to wind up doing a part 2 to this here. I'm collaborating with content creators. I'm documenting the content creators that's noticed the change of the era, and they letting their viewers know that things we're gonna have to do different. It's one more too. I don't think I can pull her up right now. But there go Bentley. I won't be able to pull his up, but you can see where you need to go. You can see where you need to go. When you see the keyword strategy, you know they're talking about decision making. Let me do that right there. When you see them talking about strategies, changing your mindset, they're talking about decision making. Decision making is the number one factor in your market for maximizing your earnings, and then your market is second. It's going to be the decisions that you use from the historical data of what you've been accepting the declining. Okay, there's a lot of powerful information you can find out there that's going to help you correct some of the mistakes. And he just talked about the mistakes all of us drivers make. None of us is exempt from making these mistakes due to the lack of knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes and the upcoming changes that's taking place on these platforms. All right, so we want to make sure you know that, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go back here because I want to emphasize, there it is. Check him out, check him out, check that out. All right, check that out, check that out. All right, but like I said, I wanted to do Toya drives as well. You know, she had one that was very powerful. She talked about no tip, no trip in one of the videos. Then she came back and said that we maybe we need to start accepting these reverse orders. She explained the reason why. That's the reason why I wanted to play her video. Maybe we'll use that for the next one. And we're gonna get a chance to show some of Bentley's as well. We collaborate with these content creators. Now you just don't hear your boy the Doordash Revolution saying it. You're hearing your driver Mike, you're hearing Kim say it, you're hearing Bentley saying, you're hearing Toya Drive saying it, you're hearing other content creators beginning to say the things we used to say. Because now the changes are here, ladies and gentlemen. I told you last year in my video they was gonna start doing. So hey, the time is here. Now we got to learn how to adapt to these changes and do better. They letting you know from their experience. We going through the same thing. We can relate to this content now. We can relate to the era of this content now because we are experiencing these things. So let me go ahead and look at the live chat before I shut it down. I do pick up orders from Whataburger. It could be for safety reasons. It is, brother. It is. It's not always, you're trying to make the most money, but the bang of the buck. But content creators need to start explaining why they don't. We know there's safety reasons out there as well. We got to quit. We sending a misleading information when we talk about following the money, but we're not giving the full breakdown of things that's happening in all our markets that are very similar. I don't care if you're in New York, Pittsburgh, the Netherlands, or whatever. Everybody experiencing crime in their market. Everybody experiencing traffic jams in their market at that point of time. Everybody experiencing super saturated market, in their markets. Some more markets are more lucrative than others. That is true. The design built up from the cities may be different in the demographics than others, but there's a lot of things that we are having similarities in those markets. Number one thing, decision making. We all got to make decisions. I don't care what market you're in. And if you're making decisions that's causing you to make mistakes and overlook the opportunities for making more money, I don't care what market you're in. You're going to make them same decisions until you learn from making that mistake. I don't care what market you're in. If you still got that same mindset, same mentality, making those same decisions, which is mistakes in markets that are not as lucrative as others, imagine what type of mistakes you're going to make when you're in a lucrative market. All right. I appreciate everyone being in the live chat today. Myself, a few other drivers hang out at a certain Walmart and get great orders and do Walmart Spark. Them are anchor stations. Oh, Smash is talking about anchor stations. He the one introduced me about anchor stations. I used to call it headquarters. Anchor stations. I'm also using the term now, point of reference. How many of you drivers have a point of reference due to you did research, case study on your historical data that you look at monthly? Kim said you ain't got to look at it every day, but you can look at it, I think, weekly. She said, I know it might be 2 weeks, but I remember her saying that, you know, you don't have to do it every day because you get more of an understanding when you do it at least weekly, every 2 weeks. I use the monthly approach more so when I go back. Like if I start today, I'm gonna go back and look at what I earned for the last 4 weeks, where the point of reference was when I was making that good money in those zip codes. You see what I'm saying? I made more money in zip codes that a lot of us didn't want to go to versus going to zip codes where the high-end restaurants at. So ladies and gentlemen, why would you want to be in an area where you're going to get less orders? It could be one driver too many in that zip code. You know, you may get an order take you away, but it's also taking you into making money in another zip code. Not only just on that platform you're working on, if you stack your apps, you can you can sign off on that app knowing it's booming over here for Uber Eats, it's booming over here for Doordash, it's booming over here for Grubhub. That's your responsibility to find out the answers to those questions in your market. Those are things that you're going to have to start thinking about when you're talking about follow the money. This is part of the Follow the Money series, ladies and gentlemen. We put in a whole lot of jewels in this information, along with the content creators that I can collaborate with that's also witnessing the same thing in their market. Peace, take care, ladies and gentlemen. Just before we go, I'm going to go ahead and look at the live chat again. All right, look like we done seen everything so far. So let's see what I'm getting ready to do now. Y'all take care. I got to get out of here. We'll see you in the next video. We want more feedback during the replay. Your thoughts, your opinions, your experiences, what you're going through. Those that have different things going on, they market for DoorDash, the point system, the new update on the on-time arrival. Okay, Grubhub is doing some changes and tweaking. Grubhub, you still need to do some tweaking. Let me get back here and say this here. I hope that y'all looking at this video, especially when we're picking up stack orders. All right, especially when we're picking up orders that other drivers decline. Don't leave it on that same estimated time of arrival at the pickup when you first send it to the first driver. Then the second driver get there, he has no reason but or she to get there late. Still you got some tweaking to do on that. You have improved on how you get stack orders to where you said order B and order A and order B. That's working perfect. You know, that's working perfect right there. To where before we talked about the complications when you get the stack order, you had to go drop one off, come all the way back to the restaurant, do your due diligence there as you're talking to the driver care specialist, then go to the second one so they could manually set it up on their end because you wasn't able to set it up because of that glitch that was going on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, y'all did work that update out, smooth it out there, but we need an improvement on time rating. You see, y'all can tighten the ship up too, a little too tight. You're gonna have to loosen the wrench a little bit on this one because you still got railroad tracks, you still have traffic jams, you still have unforeseen circumstances. We need to adjust it between 3 to 5 minutes more so the driver can get there. Due to we having stack orders and then drivers just unleashing these stack orders because they don't want, because they feel that it's not worth it for them, or they don't want to go into a dangerous area that may cost them their life. Now on long distance orders, I'm going to say it again, you're gonna have to pay more. Not just Grubhub. We talking about DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Walmart Smart, whatever apps that we doing. You're gonna have to pay more on base pay for the drivers to say it's worth it for them to go the long distance. You're gonna have to up the money in order for them orders to be fulfilled. But these apps, you're gonna learn that this year as well. Peace, take care, ladies and gentlemen. I think this was a good show. We see you in the next episode.